David, it's such a joy to join you and to share about this education that we have. So thank you for inviting me to share.
I want to thank you for taking your time and taking the opportunity to reach out with me to my friends and my family. And so I just want to take a second to introduce you to everyone. Um, Cynthia Newland is a good friend of ours. She was Zoe's dance teacher at Belhaven University. She was the chair of the faculty there. So we've known her literally ever since we've been married, before we got married. And she came back into our life a few years ago when Zoe reached out to her to help us with the worship project that we do every year. And ever since then, she's partnered with us. And that's how we really have gotten to know her more on a personal level. And I just appreciate how every time we get together, the wisdom and the ideas that she plants into our head and the things that she has taught us. She's definitely an educator. And so recently she's I, given me some advice and some things that have helped me and Zoe physically start having more energy and feeling better. Some things that I was able to, because she's a health and wellness coach, I was able to reach out to her whenever my daughter had some issues that the doctor is saying may be signs of autoimmune and things like that, which are things that I've struggled with. So I've just been so appreciative for her advice, and I've been so appreciative to her for the knowledge that she has and that she's been sharing with me. So I invited her to come and talk to you guys, and I just want to welcome her and give her this opportunity to share with you some of the things that she's been sharing with me.
Thank you so much. That's very, very kind. Thank you. It's been my honor through these years to be in partnership with your family. And I'm looking forward to many, many, many years ahead as we continue to serve in God's kingdom to help others in their journey. It's wonderful. So this is a talk about just solutions for longevity and optimal wellness. And one simple change is really what it takes, one step at a time. As David mentioned, my name is Cynthia Newland. I am a health and wellness consultant. I'm also an educator, dancer, speaker, and founder of Audible 3, which focuses on nourishing the body, soul, and spirit. This is an image of my family. I am a mom of 3 adult children. We have a couple of grandchildren now, and my husband is a singer-songwriter, musician, pastor. We are just very thankful to journey in health and continue to understand the depth of God's way of taking care of ourselves in the fullness. Health Made Simple is a community that David and I are affiliated with. We are comprised of doctors and dietitians and nutritionists, also people who are working in the education realm, entrepreneurs, others who are working in fitness, individuals who really have a common vision and mission to inspire healthy living around the world. And as we look at that mission, we really know foundationally, as David and I are linking arms, that that comes from a holistic place of really being inspired by God to try as much as possible to balance out our wellness and to balance out our health. And so we just hope tonight, today, whenever you're listening to this, this will be something that will be basic and will help you to put the pieces together and how you can have some answers, because it's pretty complicated in some ways in the context of so much confusing information that's out there, but it's really not that complicated when we can break down the simplicity of ways of taking care of ourselves. So I first want you to think about personally, what are your own goals for wellness? Do you want to maximize your daily performance, support your own immune function, have resiliency against stress and toxins that we're fighting with, diseases that are running rampant, injury and sickness, care and prevention? Is that one of your goals? Aesthetics of your body, having all long-term optimal health. So again, there's just a lot of choices to make and wondering, what door do I go through? What's the key to health? And so we want to keep it simple and help you to unlock that door. So looking at the pillars of health, we really see these foundational areas of exercise and moving our body, sleeping, managing our stress, hydration, using safer products, eating real food. Those are all areas that we want to touch on and mainly focus on the nutrition component tonight. So essential to wellness, again, the pillars of health. Knowing your self-worth and value, I really believe, is one of the first ways of having a healthy mindset. Understanding that you have worth, that you have value, that you are important, that you matter. And so if we can reprogram our thoughts that might have been skewed in some way to help us to understand that worth and value. And again, taking care of ourselves, it is a holistic aspect, and not just taking a magic pill and everything will be okay, or just going to the gym and everything will be okay. It's a whole balance. And so moving our bodies, that's incredibly important. Being physically active, being active at least 5 or 6 days a week, 30 minutes a day, trying to raise our cardio level so we're getting our blood pumping and our heart rate up and our bodies moving. That's just a good guideline to use for the physical activity. Resting our bodies, it's so very important. Aiming for 7 to 8 or 7 to 9 hours a night to sleep. That's when our body is repairing. That's when we are able to just decompress from all the activities of the day and allow our body to have self-maintenance as God's created us and designed us. So when we are sleeping, we know that there's a lot of benefits. Increasing our energy, having a better immune system, things like being able to make better decisions, having sharper concentration, improving our memory, managing stress. There's just a lot of really positive benefits to rest. And so with Health Made Simple, David and I have different resources to share with you that go into much more further depth about these different pillars. Things like getting off of our cell phones and getting under control the blue lights and how that's affecting us. Hydration is one more of those pillars. We like to use the equation of taking your body weight, dividing that in half, and then that's an equivalent of the amount of ounces of water you're to drink a day. If you're physically active, as an athlete, as a dancer, other ways that your body is really in motion, you live in hot climate and you're perspiring a lot, then it's really good to increase that amount. But this is just a good equation to use to hydrate with water. You know, those sodas and pops and coffees and things like that, you might feel like, oh, I'm hydrating, but those actually are something that have diuretics and affect us in other negative ways. So water is really a good way to make sure we're hydrating. As we're looking at detoxing, there's a lot of complications that we're now seeing in our world today. The environment toxins are definitely increasing. We have more contaminants through different types of chemicals that are affecting our environment in our soils, the water runoffs, those direct associations to chemicals that we're putting in our bodies through products that we're either consuming or putting in our bodies. So those are increasing. We also know that our food quality is decreasing. There's more preservatives, less nutrients in our food, more pesticides and trans fats, emulsifiers, genetic modification. It's just running rampant now, all of the different types of chemicals and preservatives. The last study I read said that there were over 9,000 different food additives that were being put in our food today. And so that's just an just absurd amount of things that are not coming from a real source and keeping our food as pure as possible. This chart shows us that there's this running rampant amount of disease that's happening, and it's happening globally, but there's a direct correlation between the cultures and societies that are consuming more plant foods and the decrease of the amount of heart disease and cancers that those cultures are and those individuals are experiencing. So we're going to advocate in these solutions to help you to understand, look at these pillars of your health, but also be attentive to what are the solutions. And we know that when it comes to eating real food, eating whole food, plants will make a big difference in the decrease of disease and cancers. And the reason is because God created them, and there's a condition that is called oxidative stress, and oxidative stress is linked to poor health. And so basically this apple in this diagram of this woman shows oxidation that occurs. So when the molecules in the air, free radicals, come in contact with our skin or come in contact with this apple that's been cut, what happens is they start to decompose a really wonderfully fortified cellular structure, and then aging happens, or decomposition happens. One side of the apple, you'll see it hasn't happened yet, and that's because lemon juice has been placed on it. And so that is a preserving factor through antioxidants. And antioxidants are made in our body in a very small amount, but antioxidants are made in plant foods, and we need to consume those to make sure that we're preventing the oxidative stress to occur in our bodies. Another thing that we're seeing in the concerns in our world today with the decrease of our food is the way that mass production is occurring in packaging. And so what we're seeing is an example of a food that is picked and plucked is often done now prematurely. So it's before it's been vine ripened, and then it's put on a truck and shipped for us in the States across the country often. And that's on the truck for 5 days, sometimes it's 7 days, or even up to 2 weeks before we can get the actual produce that was originally harvested. And then by then it can lose up to 70% of its nutrients. And so when we have these packaged foods, when we're having foods that are traveling long distances, we're just not getting the optimal amount of nutrients as we would if we are growing them ourselves, or we're going from a local source. So that farm to table opportunity that you can have if you eat local. So some varieties have a loss to 5% or up to 40%. Sometimes actually research is showing it's actually much higher the length of time that we are from the disconnect from the original life source to when we get to consume it. 7 to 13 servings a day is what is recommended. And a part of the reason why is the decrease of the nutrients in our food and how it's being produced and how it's also being processed. So what's the solution? As we're looking at these challenges that we're facing, again, just really encouraging us to eat real food. Hippocrates had it right a long time ago when he noted, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. A wonderful, beautiful fact of how the food was created by God is every color has really amazing qualities of nutrients that help our body in different types of ways. So we use this language, eat the colors of the rainbow. And so this is why, basically, when we're eating the rainbow of colors, we see that the red natural foods are good for our heart and our blood. Orange food, they help to prevent cancers and reduce the risk of disease. Yellow foods, they're good for our skin and heart. Green foods are good for our bones and detoxing the body. Blue and purple foods help us with mineral absorption, and white foods help to support immunity and our circulatory system. So there's just a lot of really wonderful things that we can get when we're consuming a whole array of color. But if we're not getting that variety every day, then we're missing these activities that are naturally occurring in the foods to help our bodies to heal and to maintain optimal wellness. So I know you wish I would mean this when I say, eat the colors of the rainbow, but this actually doesn't cut it. We need to eat natural foods coming from a whole food source. So again, key is whole foods. We look at the balance of the nutrients that we're consuming through fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, grain, beans. Those are what we're talking about when we're articulating the language of whole foods. We really love to encourage people to eat breakfast, start your day, breaking the night fast with building your brighter brain, promoting better behavior. It helps you to control your weight when your metabolism gets started in the morning. breakfast ideas. We really encourage and share a lot through Health Made Simple. And we would love to share some of these resources with you. And I'll share some more about that in a moment. But things like overnight oats, loaded toast with avocado and nut butter, whole grain muffins, and different types of scrambles, homemade yogurts. These are ways to saturate your body with plants. You notice here where it says plant-based yogurt or nut butters. Those are a plant source loaded with those wonderful nutrients. Sometimes people wonder about, okay, is it okay to snack? What should I do for my meal and consumption? We definitely encourage snacking because we think that this grazing mentality of eating smaller meals throughout the day really provides the fuel that our body needs to continue to have stamina and sustainability through the day. And this is some really wonderful ideas of consuming different types of snacks that are, again, loaded with plants and providing all those phytonutrients, those plant nutrients that we need. And again, this shows an array of colors to get that variety of all those nutrients. So hummuses and nuts, nut butters, again, protein clusters, and I'll share some more about those wonderful, wonderful, good little nuggets that are great to eat and loaded with good protein, and homemade trail mix. So nutritious meals on the go, that's something that we're also helping people to be educated about, because our lives are often very, very busy, and we sometimes will opt to head to a fast food restaurant to get something that might not be as nutritious as we could find if we created it at home or are attentive to the ingredients that we're eating. So that we have some really fun resources and events that we provide that either are home-based or online as well, that share about creating salad in a jar or different type of grain bowls, veggie bowls, roll-ups, salads that are easy and quick to make, that are things that you can prep ahead of time so you're not coming home and wondering, what am I going to eat? You've already done the work and done the forethought. This is showing, again, that reminder of the recommendation of the amount of fruits and vegetables. And this is really what that looks like. So when I started with the question about what are your health goals, as I'm asking you this question, I really want you to be honest with yourself. How many portions of fruits and veggies are you eating a day? And if we're optimally recommended to get even up to 13 a day, a portion really is looking at, if it's raw, it's about one heaping handful or a cupful, and it's about a half a cup if it's cooked. So these are really beautiful servings that are showing the amount of portions that we need daily. And the reason why, again, so many fruits and veggies is looking at, we don't want to make substitutions. And often people are thinking, okay, so I'm not getting in the good nutrients that I need through my food source, so maybe I'll opt for different types of vitamins. Well, we're seeing in the States in particular that vitamins are something that have no regulatory guidelines. They have a supplement label and not a whole food label. And we know that Americans don't necessarily have a vitamin deficiency. It's more that we have whole food deficiencies. And so this is just showing what it looks like when we are looking at a label that is a multivitamin. It's a label that, again, it doesn't have any USDA regulatory guidelines, anything that has a supplement label, but if it has a food label, we do. So this is versing the multivitamin compared to an apple. So the phytonutrients in an apple, there's over 10,000 phytonutrients that all act synergistically together to nourish our body. What's in an orange are different than what's in an apple. What's in a banana or in squash or kale or other types of foods that are plant foods, those phytonutrients all vary. And so we're getting this whole array of those agents that are fighting the stressors, the oxidation that's happening in our body. And when we're getting it from a synthetic form, like a multivitamin, we're actually seeing in research that some of that is showing how it's actually causing negative effects and not the positive effects, as the food has all those nutrients synergistically working together. So with our community, Health Made Simple, we want to keep it simple and help to provide some solutions. So fruits and veggies, we know, help to balance our immune system. They prevent disease. It helps cellular protection and function when we're eating all those good nutrients. It allows us to have independence, resiliency, range of motion, strength and endurance, energy to enjoy our life, to have peak performance. And it's our body's defense against infection and disease when we're eating all these phytonutrients. So are you missing the important piece? Are you not consuming what you need every day to allow your body to not only maintain, but also to fight against those different type of immune, autoimmune, different diseases, inflammation that's running rampant in our body? So with our community, we really enjoy some things with, again, teaching education, helping people to saturate their body with plants, to fill in the gap. A shake, that's something that I recommend. I do this every single morning. I will take a smoothie and a smoothie base, a plant-based mix. We encourage this one because it is low glycemic. So that means that the amount of sugar in it is very low, that it's vegan and non-GMO, gluten and dairy free. It's plant-based protein. And the reason why we advocate for the plant-based proteins is we're seeing with some of the whey proteins that does increase inflammation and can be carcinogenic, have carcinogenic cancer-causing effects in our body. And it's a power prebiotic fiber. And with that we know we need fiber in our body to help us to continue to function in our digestive system. So it can be used as a healthy breakfast or pre or post workout as you are being physically active, or it can be a morning snack or a late afternoon snack, evening snack. And this just shows some of the beautiful things that you can do with it. Making smoothies, you'll see those little seeded with the blueberries, that's a chia pudding. So it's something that you can do to add those plant powders with different types of things like plant-based milks, plant-based nutrients to help to increase the amount of phytonutrients that you're getting in the body. So this is something I really enjoy. I make these little nutrition balls with a nut butter, with the plant-based complete drink mix, with oats. I sometimes will use other types of ingredients like coconut or a cacao powder or a organic chocolate powder. And you can make it a variety of flavors, lemon, chocolate, cinnamon. So they're just really wonderful and a good way to get good protein into your body. You can also make a hot chocolate. I had one not too long ago where I just put a plant-based milk, used the chocolate, plant-based complete drink mix powder, and mixed that. And I had 16 different plants in my body that were just guilt-free, that I didn't feel guilty about drinking a hot chocolate in the middle of the afternoon. One simple change is also looking at how can we get this whole array of these nutrients in our body. This is a way that the company is inspiring healthy living, is providing opportunities for us to get this whole array of consuming the rainbow in our diet every day. So this is something that I do in my daily diet, is eat these plant powders. And basically the process is the nutrients have been vine ripe picked when the produce is optimally ripe. And then within 12 to 24 hours, the whole food is crushed. It's pulverized. And so we're not just extracting out a portion of the nutrient, we're getting all the nutrients that come from the skin and the seeds and the fleshy part of the food. And then what is done at a very slow temperature, a low temperature and a slow process, it is extracted. The water is extracted and then it's dehydrated. So you're left with the nutrient of the entire food, but with a produce plant powder. And so creatively, the company has organized how we can get these into vegan capsules or into little chewables, which are actually really, really yummy, but it helps the body to get this array of nutrients that we may not be getting every day if we're just eating oranges and bananas, or maybe lettuce and tomato, but not getting the whole spectrum of colors. So Juice Plus, it does add these nutrients from all this array of colors and different phytonutrients through the different types of fruits and vegetables. I noted that it's at peak ripeness when it's picked, which is very different than how our food is often harvested, like a tomato, for example, is picked and then it's picked green. And as it is shipped, it will basically very slowly start to ripen, but often it doesn't ripen, and then it's gassed to increase the time and how rapid it becomes ripe. So it's just in a artificial way that it's been enhanced when we get it. I mean, we often know that by the flavors. So you can just tell quite a difference. And then with these plant powders, we know that they can come in a form with, as I mentioned, through the powders that are encapsulated or through the chewables. But then we also have an omega, which is really wonderful. And I'll share a bit about that. So this is just an example of the, what the big, large packets are of the gummies that we have our children eating. But I'll tell you, my husband loves them also. And sometimes I kind of sneak into his because they're really a guilt-free snack. So if you like gummies and gummy bears, this is like 100 times better for you, and also actually more tasty. All right, so omegas. This is something that we're seeing is really important in our society today. The reason why we need omegas, omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 through the plant source that we provide is that there are concerns with different types of health. We're seeing a decrease in our mental health and more concerns with ADHD, ADD, Alzheimer's, different types of illnesses that are coming because of the decrease in our mental capacity. And so when we are saturating our body again with the good omegas, that helps to fight against those different negative effects that we are combating because we don't have the nutrients that our body needs. We see that omegas are helping to increase our heart health, brain health, joint, skin, and our eyes as well. And these omegas are 100% plant-based. They're pure and sustainable, full spectrum of the omegas, as I mentioned, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Cold press, and again, in a vegetarian capsule. So we're just getting this education out to people, not only to help them understand that they need to have an increase of these different types of nutrients, but also providing really simple, affordable ways to get them in their bodies, because often our lives are busy and we need a quick fix in ways to help us to take care of ourselves in nutritional ways. We do believe that what we provide is very unique. As I mentioned before, it's provided with a food label, loaded with phytonutrients. It's non-genetically modified, and we could share a lot more about that, but the problems that we're seeing with genetic modification in our production of food. Dairy-free, gluten-free, it's NSF certified, which really shows that there's this third-party quality insurance. And then we have a lot of clinical research. This research on our Juice Plus products has been conducted in multiple cities around the world and various institutions, which some of these you may recognize as forerunners in our educational environments around the world. And what they show is that really it meets the highest standard, this gold standard research at these leading hospitals around the world. So it's randomized, double-blind studies, placebo-controlled, tested on the products itself, it's tested on humans, and then it's published research. And it shows that everything in our process is ethical. When these different studies have been conducted, it's showing that we are having increased, improved cardiovascular wellness. Our immune systems, our gum health is increased. Oxidative stress is reduced, reduces inflammation, protects our DNA, and healthier skin. And being the science nerd that I am, I could spend a long time right now sharing about how all of these different areas and the effects on our body are so vital and so important. I'm going to do Zoom share. So with all of these improvements, we're seeing that it's so beneficial to have an array of these plant nutrients in our body every single day. So we know that Juice Plus is the most researched nutritional product in the world. And if you can't Google that easily, you can just ask Siri and she'll agree with you and share that information. Something that I'm so excited about is a program that we have called Healthy Starts for Families, where we're able to have an adult make a purchase of the plant-based powders or the gummies themselves, and then a child age 4 to college age, up to 4 years long, will receive the plant powders or the gummies for free. So it's an incredible program that we have. And so this is where I just want us to be able to understand that getting these nutrients, this is like a 2-for-1 when you are buying an adult version, and being able to get those nutrients for our children. So they are very affordable. We see that the price point when we're buying a coffee or some sort of, I call them mocha, yoka, choco, yayas, just those different flavored coffee drinks, that they can be expensive, sometimes $4, $5, and sometimes actually even more for just one single drink. And to get these different nutrients in your body, this whole array, 30 different fruits and veggies, is $2.50 a day. The plant powders, where you're going to get 15 other plants into your body, is $2.33 a day. And then those omegas is about $1 a day. And so for under $5, you can have a whole array of nutrients that you would normally pay $5 for something that might not be nearly as nutritious. So Dave, I'd love for you to share about your own experience with the education that we've been sharing and the benefit for your family.
Yeah, well, since my family has started taking them, we ordered the gummies for everybody because taking advantage of the Healthy Start program for the families, and signed up Rebecca for that. And everybody's just been taking the gummies every day. And the first thing that we've all noticed, everybody in my family has taken it, has mentioned just the extra energy. Uh, the the kids, you talked about the pillars of health moving. Yeah, they're moving a lot more, so that's inspiring me to move a lot more, and trying to keep up with them, because it's definitely noticed. We've noticed their increase in energy. They're waking up earlier. They're even going to bed earlier at night because they're getting all of their energy out during the day. And Zoe and I are feeling better. So it's been something that we've also tried, the shakes that you were mentioning, and those are really good, and feel, to me, whenever I'm taking them, it's just a good source of energy. And I love the fact that I can really have confidence about what I'm putting into my body, that it's not chemicals, and that I'm not wondering about the sources. And so a lot of the information that you've shared with me, and all the different things that you guys have provided for free through the websites, has really enlightened me on how much our body needs these plants, and these things, the nutrients that are coming to them. And I think that was definitely the missing piece. And because Zoe and I travel so much, and for almost 9 years, there's not been many weeks of the year that I don't pack a suitcase and we're not on the road somewhere. And so it's not always easy. When we're home, we eat at home almost all the time, and do that, but we're gone so much. This is something that's going to really help us to maintain the proper nutrition that we need, and keep us with the energy that we need to keep up with the kids, with the energy that we need to keep up with the ministry, and to keep up with the pace that we're doing. So it's been really beneficial so far for us.
That's excellent. Well, with the Healthy Living Revolution is affiliated with the work that we're doing with Health Made Simple Community, we know that a part of the foundation is education, and helping to share with people the education through different mediums. We have these beautiful webinars that are focused on a variety of health issues and concerns that we're seeing today. Different professionals that are in the medical realm are sharing solutions. We have these beautiful cookbooks, and this information is free. These resources are information that you can get online. And so we'll make sure that you get this information. Please reach out to David to get the links to these free resources for our children, focused on even education in physical wellness and physical fitness, and in-home exercise programs. So it's just gorgeous resources that are free for benefiting those of us that we know need this education and need to have these simple solutions. And so this just shows an array of the different information that you have access to. So just look and see what might be beneficial to you, and we will make sure we send those free links your way. And then we just look forward to you joining our mission. And by you listening to this recording, you've already been able to be a part of this healthy living revolution. It's going to take an individual to link arm with other people. And we've heard this saying before, that how it takes a village to make a difference. And so we want to link arms with you and ask that as you are thinking about the changes you want to make in your own life, as you're thinking about the changes that you may see that would benefit your family, other people, loved ones that you know, use David as a reference so he can link arms with the rest of us at Health Made Simple, so we can be a part of the mission-minded individuals that are going to help you to reach your optimal wellness and health goals. And so we enjoy this work and doing this work together, and just invite you again to join us. And it might be something that you want to do to join us by making one simple change in your own life, maybe to share the resources with other people, or maybe you want to join us in this mission because it's something that we're doing to help us to accrue economic more income into our individual lives. And so just you can reach out to David and ask about that aspect, as well as what benefit of being a part of our community is. And we just want to thank you for your time, and thank you for your advocacy for your own health and your own wellness. And we encourage you to just take this motto, to take healthy back, and to implement one simple change, and to know that we are here as a resource. You can reach out to me also